What's happening, everybody? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, our special guest, Coach Dave Rebibo from Harvard Westlake High School, or school. School.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We're here for the Core Prep Fall Classic, where Harvard Westlake is matched up against Heritage Christian School. Should be a nice little preseason matchup, competitive play, preparing for the season. So I like to always start off with when did you fall in love with basketball?
You know, I grew up a diehard Laker fan. My dad was a huge Laker fan. So I think I was 5 or 6 years old, and it was the Magic's, before the whole deal with him. But we were watching a Laker game, and I was like, Dad, I got to play. And next thing you know, they bought a hoop, and then it was like a race to get in the park and rec leagues, and from that point on, the rest is history. Basketball's always been a passion, a love. I think my parents tried to sign me up for baseball one year. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm missing basketball season,
Yes.
And that's kind of been me in a nutshell. It's just a passion. It's a love. The purity that when the game is played right, it's just so beautiful, right? And so awesome and pure. So I'm a huge basketball junkie, and for as long as I can remember, I've always loved it.
That's awesome. How do you connect that passion with today's youth and the new generation? I love to see, your passion, like you said, it's always been a part of your life. How do you show that passion to the kids that you coach?
For me, I just fall in love with the process, and I think we try to, impart what that means, right? For us, process is every day, and it's something every day, and it could be recovery, it could be how we eat, it could be the thoughts that go through my mind as I'm approaching game day and all those things like that, or even practice for that matter. So I think it's that part. It's falling in love with the process and engaging in that to the degree where it's on your mind constantly, in a good way. Right? Yeah. Because obviously with the evolution of social media, we've seen the process of basketball kind of take a fork in the road, where there's many different avenues that could lead to a great place and could lead to a million other places. But I think falling in love with your process, falling in love with your team's process, and just kind of understanding like, hey, what is success? And we try to define that, and for me, that's always been defined as growth, character development, and preparation, because I feel like all three of those things lead to success. All three of those things lead to you being a productive college basketball player at whatever level, and a productive human being.
Yes, absolutely. I love connecting the game to life, and we talk about it all the time, but I think a lot of coaches miss it on how to actually do that. And you've seen it with your players over the years, with the success they have, the academic success they have, and being able to network and navigate life after basketball is always important. So I always appreciated that about you and your program. Next part is, what are you looking forward to most this season with this team?
I'm just excited about this group. We've got such a great group of guys. The chemistry is so much fun. I mean, we went out to Vegas for that Border League event, and we played in the little LA versus Vegas deal to start, and our guys it was like 10:30, and I'm like, hey, let's go to the hotel. And they're like, no, can we go eat? Can we all go eat together? Can the players sit together and coaches sit? It was kind of like, okay, like. And that kind of took off as the weekend went on. So I'm obviously really excited about our team as a whole. But I'm also excited to see, what we learned from last year.
I like that.
Last year was a roller coaster, not from the standpoint of our team, but just the return of COVID at a high level, being shut down for 2 weeks pre-league, losing valuable time, trying to get it all back. Chasing that, not knowing day to day if you're going to be shut down, if you're going to lose a guy, so all of that was just such a strain. But then to see us kind of turn that into a real positive and making a great run in the Open Division, getting a state win, having a chance in the regional semifinals, obviously that's exciting. But then returning majority of those guys back,
yeah,
I'm excited to see what we've learned and how we've grown.
Absolutely, and taking that actually is the next idea. Is we always tell our players to develop something in the off season. What have you as a coach developed in this off season that you're looking forward to implementing with the team?
So I'm a huge believer in the off season for me. A lot of people like to go to clinics and things. I like to coach, and I coach AAU, or excuse me, on the Nike EYBL, and I like to play with things. We ice ball screens. It wasn't who I was. It wasn't how, but I started by asking some questions to coaches who have done it in the past, college coaches, and then I started implementing it in my club practices. And I started tweaking this and tweaking that, and then I put it in the year that we actually went to the Peach Jam finals and lost at the buzzer. We ice ball screens and that was my first time doing it. So every year, I try and take something and play with it on top of learning how to connect with different players from different areas, from different socioeconomic backgrounds, races, et cetera, just because it's important. Connecting with people is important, I think. And somebody said this to me when I first started coaching, and it resonated with me. And the reality is, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And that part has always been a big deal. And so for me, connecting is a big deal, and I try to get better at connecting. Knowing, hey, in practice and games, I'm a different connector than I am outside, right? I'm a lot more fun, and I joke around, and we like to have a good time, and I'll make fun of our guys, and all that good stuff. But when it's time for work, it's time for work.
Absolutely.
So I would say I'm always trying to get better at connecting and finding ways to connect. I'm always trying to learn, and then I'm always playing with ideas that I have that I think could be beneficial for our upcoming season.
Yeah.
And that's a big factor for me.
Awesome. Now the next question is called My Rushmore. Okay, it's your Mount Rushmore of coaches. Who's your top 4 coaches of all time, any level, any sport? Yeah.
Nick Saban, phenomenal. Obviously, winning, detailed process. Mike Tomlin, big fan of Mike Tomlin. Not a big Steelers fan, big Mike Tomlin fan though, and I always have. Throughout the course of his time, I've always thought Mark Few at Gonzaga, just being in that league as an assistant coach at USF, seeing how good they are, and just anything you throw at them, they're so prepared. That preparation and detail, big one. So that's 3.
That's 3.
Jay Wright, always been a huge fan. When I heard he only has 5 plays and everything's just play off of that, and they've always been in it, and they're 3-star oriented team. Always been a big fan of that. Big fan of him. Gosh, who would be number?
That's 4.
That's 4.
That's 4.
There we go.
Yeah, you can name
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
but
Okay, we're good.
there's
We're
your
good,
4.
we're good. In my mind, I always go top 5.
Absolutely. I like the My Rushmore. Because it keeps it tough. You gotta choose your 4.
You're right.
I see with all those coaches is they all have a huge focus on character development and really getting players who have the character come into their program. And I think that's so important that these high school kids and their parents have to understand is that's what college coaches are looking for, is that character. If they're recruiting you, they already know you can play. They're looking for what your character is, how coachable you are, how unselfish you are to play a role, to fit the scheme of a team to ultimately win. And that's reflected in how you do it. You have so much talent. It's a couple teams in this event. You just have so much talent of Division I players. They're all playing on the same team, on the same court, all getting theirs.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal to see on the high school level in Southern California. We're with this event today, that's what all of us coaches are talking. How much talent is just in the gym today?
Special.
Southern California, there's nothing like it.
No,
nothing like it. The Mission League should have a TV deal. Just at least for 70% of the games, they could be on TV. It's that good.
You might need a trophy just for making it out of the Mission League.
Right. You get a banner. You get a banner for that. Right.
And to your point, just in regards to evaluation, one of the biggest eye-opening things that I experienced as a Division I assistant coach was how many coaches spent time, once they knew a player was good enough, honing in on the family and who surrounds the player.
Yeah.
Because are they going to fit us now?
Yes.
And then we got to move on if they're not. And that process is very unique, but it breeds success.
100%. Thank you. That's those gold nuggets that we look for the kids to hear, for their parents to hear about what's truly important about reaching your goal if you want to be a collegiate player. And that's on any level. You're at a Division I level, but that's on any level. Any level. Next one is, if you can describe Harvard Westlake basketball in one word or a short phrase, what would it be?
Relentless. We are relentless in our pursuit of greatness. We're relentless in our pursuit of academic greatness. We're relentless in our pursuit of personal growth. We're relentless in how we approach everything. And I think oftentimes it can be overwhelming because we are chasing the highest level of high school basketball in Southern California at one of the most prestigious schools in the country, where standards are incredibly high. Yeah. For me, that aligns. Because if you're trying to go here and your work ethic and the academics is here, well then you're not going to get. And if you're here and you're working here, alignment's a big deal. Yeah. And I think it's been one of the factors for us in our success is that alignment. So I do believe we are relentless in our approach. Our guys, the culture gets set. I mean, we're off in August, and they're in the weight room at school. They're asking to get in the gym with coaches and get shots up. And I'm like, guys, it's dead time. Like, I mean, there's no dead periods earlier, but you don't have to do anything. And they're like, no. I'm like, we're going, and they're going and bringing guys with them. Yeah. And that approach, that culture, that mindset, I think it's just such a great thing to see. And so that relentless approach has been what I pride ourselves on, and what I'm so appreciative of.
No, that's awesome. All right, and our last question is the Tar question of the day. Tar couldn't be here today. He's at the MLS finals or something crazy like that. And so I asked him a question that he would want to ask. So the question is who's the best local high school player that you've watched or that you coach, or you're going to coach against or don't want to coach against, however you want to see it, that stands out?
That loaded question. Yes. Can I say the entire Mission League in San Fernando? There are so many talent. I would tell you, regardless of record and just my philosophy is every night, everyone's dangerous. I know there have been moments where oh, you've got so-and-so tonight. Their record's not great. And I'm terrified of their guy, because he's dangerous, because he's their guy. And I think that makes anybody dangerous. And with how well coached our league is and how talented and the influx of talent coming in, and Sierra Canyon obviously joining the league, and I mean Heritage, you just go down the list of great programs with incredible talent. Hard to answer, to be truthfully honest.
You didn't pick somebody from your team. That's fair. I would, so I'll pick somebody from your team. So
opening another can of worms. I'm going to blanket it. Everybody. We are worried about everybody. Everybody's on our radar. Nobody's being taken lightly. And, whether it be the three guys at Notre Dame or, Peyton White and Joe Sterling at Crespi or whoever.
Yeah.
They're all very good, very talented, very well coached. And we know it's going to be a battle.
No, absolutely. Yeah, every night for you in league. And then your preseason schedule's just as bad. And so, or don't say just bad, just as good. It's just on a competitive level, and I appreciate that about coaches. That even leading up to this event, we'll play anybody. Let's go play.
Yeah.
And I love that attitude. I think it does wonders for the kids, for their confidence long term and understanding life. Is like, hey, you got to, whatever's thrown at you, you got to get through it, and you'll learn even if you lose. And if you win, then you learn as well.
Totally.
So.
There's a skill, in my opinion, to scheduling. But there's a reality to playing, and you need to play. You need to play quality teams, and thank you for putting this on, and thank you for doing this, and we will always be a supporter.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck for your season, Coach.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Appreciate it.